After an attack by the First Order, the Resistance is on the run. In the midst of escape, they become trapped in a desolate quadrant of space with very little fuel. Meanwhile, Rey is trying to get Luke to train her, and he is not being cooperative. Now, this is going to sound really general, but what I loved about this movie was the way that things transpired. They make bold decisions. They say, fans be damned. All your theories can go down the drain. All of your ideas of what Star Wars is, screw it. They make the statement that this is their movie. This is not for the fans, it's not for anyone else. This is for the movie, and we're going to do what works for the movie. Shocking events that you did not expect at all happen decently early on in the movie, and then we just move on to the next thing, because that's just how the story has to flow. All of the actors that we saw in the last movie, they do just as good of a job here. Rey continues to be a fine protagonist that Daisy Ridley helps to elevate. John Boyega continues to do a wonderful job making Finn a relatable, human character. Oscar Isaac does a very good job of showing a more flawed and vulnerable side of Poe than what we saw in the last movie. Adam Driver continues to be excellent at playing a more vulnerable villain in Kylo Ren. All the main cast, all their performances are very similar to what they were in The Force Awakens. I want to talk about the newcomers. Benicio del Toro is fantastic as this slimy thief. He's this wonderful character that points out that not everything in war is so black and white. The line between the good guys and the bad guys is blurred. To him, it's non-existent. He's a character that's very representative of the theme of the movie itself that permeates in every single storyline. The idea that these good guys are not as good as you thought, and that the bad guys, well, they have their reasons. And it's just another bold choice that this movie makes that says, forget about what you think Star Wars is, this is what this movie is. Laura Dern plays an admiral in the Resistance who Poe views as very authoritarian. I love Laura Dern, and she's so excellent in this movie. She brings so much humanity to a character that has hardly any screen time. Even when she's this authoritarian adversary to Poe, you get that there's something bigger going on. You get that she has a perspective. And she just immediately evokes the feeling of a leader. Mark Hamill is fantastic as an old, grizzled, grumpy, tired, broken Luke Skywalker. And I love grumpy, no-nonsense Luke Skywalker. The way he trains Rey is excellent. The way that he treats the villains later on is brilliant. What we find out about him later on contributes to this theme of the blurred lines between good and evil. Kelly Marie Tran plays a Resistance engineer who ends up helping out Finn. For the first minute or so that she's on screen, I hated her. She's doing this stupid fangirl thing where she's really excited to meet this big hero, Finn, and it's just like, ugh. But when she finds out what Finn's doing, she immediately turns on him and is like, no, these are my principles, and this is what's right. She turns out to be a really strong character throughout the rest of the movie. She sticks by her principles, but she's still human and vulnerable. And it's a wonderful performance by Kelly Marie Tran. Visually, there are lots of really great flashes of excellent filmmaking. There are lots of gorgeously composed shots and moments that work beautifully because of the visual that Rian Johnson gives us. But at the same time, one of the great appeals of the original trilogy is production design. None of the sets in the original trilogy feel like sets. There are a few moments in this movie, especially at the beginning, where the sets feel like sets to me. It's not like a massive problem, and it doesn't hurt the overall movie. It's a little disappointing. Another problem I have is every once in a while there'll be a little gap in logic, where it's like, wait, how does he know that? But it's not like a huge deal. Another sort of issue, but not really, is that sometimes the movie can get bogged down in what might seem like unnecessary scenes. But for me personally, I think the exploration of the ideas in those scenes kind of outweighs the manner in which it bogs down the movie as a whole. This is an exciting and subversive Star Wars movie that is decidedly its own. It does not cower to the whims of its fans. It does not compromise. It is its own vision. And that's all I can truly ask of a Star Wars movie. I'm gonna give Star Wars: The Last Jedi an A.